Hey, what's up, guys? Toogie here, back again. Weird to say when the first episode was more of an episode 0/setup episode, but we are back again with the start of my Milwaukee Ospreys franchise mode series. Now, we set up the last episode just kind of giving you an overlook at what this was, what the team was, and by also giving you guys an opportunity to kind of have your own input to help shape this series and the Buffalo series for that matter. And here is what we are going with before we get into the start of, really simming games. The roster is updated as of the Jamel Smith and Cody Ceci signings, which means, yes, Jeff Skinner is a Buffalo Sabre. Of course, that only means that Cliff Poo was moved to Carolina, as I cannot move draft picks, but them's the breaks. Which is kind of what happens if EA would add the ability for us to move move draft picks via roster management. That would be great. That is not currently the case. As far as injuries in the morale system, injuries will start on. Morale is off at the moment, or for this entire series. With injuries, we have the same settings that we've had in the Ottawa series, in which case, there hasn't been too many injuries, but when they happen, Erik Karlsson, they've tended to be game changers. So I'm going to continue to go with that. Now, of course, there is always going to be, and there was discussion amongst the realism debate in both this comment section for the Ospreys and for the Buffalo Sabres. I'll put it this way. I'm going to try and keep it quote-unquote realistic, but in real life, when Tyler Seguin was traded, when Taylor Hall was traded for Adam Larson, what is a realistic trade anyway? So, that's always going to be a debate. I'm just going to do at any moment where I feel like is the best for the series. So if I draft a bust of a player in the 7th round, am I going to immediately trade him for an extra pick so that I get a second chance? Probably not. I'll probably just wait until I have the ability to release him and just never sign him. Free agent-wise, am I going to sign every big free agent player? No. Trade-wise, am I going to go through the trade block? Probably. But am I still going to try to find trades? Yes. We'll see. It's all kind of going to be an in-the-moment thing. Now, as far as the actual roster goes, our current team, of course, with us being just a relocated Nashville Predators I've played too much FIFA. With us being a Nashville Predators team, we are the Nashville Predators. No, we're not. We're the Milwaukee Ospreys, and we're that much better because we're going to get the job done and we're going to win a cup. That's right. I said it. With our team being as good as it is, obviously, some people are saying, it's too easy, you're going to win early. Not necessarily. We have had much better teams than this falter, and we've had much weaker teams than this win cups, so it's hardly a guarantee. As far as the team goes, there was talk among whether or not we sign any of these prospects, which normally I would agree, but for this season, right now we're at 46 contracts, so I can't help but think it might be for the best in a way to just kind of wait it out. Players can still develop while they are unsigned. Now, you can argue that they might develop better through playing AHL games. But I think for the moment, really, from Ferentz up, we're going to look to sign all these guys at some point. But I think for the moment, what I'm going to look to do is not immediately sign anybody. We're going to play this season out, see how it goes, and if we have to make moves and we free up roster spots as a result, I'm down with that. We're at 46 out of 50 contracts as well. Waivers might also play a factor. We don't exactly know what the AI GMs are going to do, especially with the rosters being the way they are. How are they going to handle the cap hits, especially moving in to the second year when a lot of those salaries change? So I don't think I'm going to look to do anything there at the moment. So the only thing to do at this point, aside from clearing out the trade block and setting up scouting, is just to set our lineup in stone and begin the sim. It's pretty much all we have to do at the moment. But like I said, I wanted to give you guys a chance. I took notes and literally I have a Word document open right now as I'm recording this of certain things that I liked as far as, ways we can kind of play out both series. And I'm hopeful that this will be a fun series to end NHL 18 on. It should be, at the very least, even if we find success early on, which, like I said, maybe we will. Maybe we won't. It's hardly been a guarantee that great teams end up winning, at least for me. It doesn't seem to happen all that often. But again, we'll clear out the trade block. We'll set up the scouting. And we will be good to go. Now, there is going to be a little bit of controversy in that we do have too many players for too few spots. Let's go 3 weeks for forwards, of course. Big time draft, the Darlene draft, the 2018 draft class is here. What type of computer-generated players will we get? That is, of course, the question. Now, as far as this team is set up, goaltending, we're fine, we're good. Nothing to really worry about yet with Pekka Rinne. Once we get into the playoffs, then I'll be concerned. But we'll see if UC Saros at 22 can develop into that true starting caliber goaltender. Of course, in the first-year draft, there's not really anybody that we can really rely on to become a future starter, at least on paper. So I'm a little bit concerned there. Our defense is good to go. Of course, we'll set up the AHL as best we can. And then forward-wise, here is the issue. Now, actually, going back to defense, I will say, there were some, I'm going to consider them jokes about trading PK Subban, particularly back to Montreal. Look, I'm a Boston fan, you know this. If I immediately trade PK Subban, come on now. You know, I see through your game. Trade PK, they say to the Bruins fans, so that they can then rip that Bruins fan apart for trading PK. I will not fall for your tricks. I will not. That said, there was also talk about bumping up Zach Ronaldo to the fourth line, which, you know, would be good for the memes, but we do already have quite a logjam of talent here. And as far as Austin Watson goes, look, will I get rid of him if he underperforms? Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of weird, right? It's kind of weird, the whole situation that went on with him. And then, of course, the Blue Jays series, I traded Roberto Osuna because of what was going on with him. We'll see what happens with Austin Watson throughout the course of the series. But that aside, we do have our top six pretty much locked in with Craig Smith. But then there's also the question of what to do with Eeli Tolvanen, who offensively is already gifted enough to play in the top six. But I think I'm going to send him down to the AHL, have him be the main man down in the AHL for this season. We'll see what he can do. Hopefully his skating can continue to improve. Physically, he wasn't that great either. So we'll see what he can eventually become. Which leads us to the team right now as it stands, which, you know, it's not terrible. I mean, obviously defensively we're stacked. I guess it's just kind of a matter of what we want to look to do here. And I do think that Forsberg, Turris, and Arvidsson is one hell of a setup. Fiala, Johansson, Smith, Bonino, and Yarncroke. Now, I'm a little bit worried about having them on the same line. They are our best two center options. I don't really want to drop Yarncroke or Bonino down to the fourth line, but it would be slightly more reliable than having Sissons as the fourth line center. I don't know. That's a tough call. Maybe we'll start off the year like that. I mean, Bonino, Yarncroke, Hartman is a pretty solid third line. Tad bit worried about the fourth line. But again, we'll see what happens from there. And then defensively, I am going to take out Matt Irwin for Yannick Weber, just to have a three lefty, three righty dynamic. If you've watched any of my series, you'll know that's just how I like to set it up. Does it matter? Probably not. But damn it, I do what I want. I'm my own man. So obviously the Dan Hamhuis signing provides us with that much better defense and an improvement on Matt Irwin, who of course will stay on the roster because we are having injuries on in the series. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go Ekholm, Subban, Yossi, Ellis, Hamhuis, and Weber. I'm actually a little bit worried about that. You know what? Maybe Ekholm, Subban, Yossi, Weber, Hamhuis, Ellis? You know what? I think I'm going to go with that, actually, and we'll see what Yannick Weber can do and whether or not he can play anywhere near Roman Yossi's level. So we have Matt Irwin there, and we will need to call somebody up as a healthy scratch for the forwards, which, guess who that's going to be? Zach Ronaldo. If anybody gets injured, Zach Ronaldo steps into the lineup, and he will be the replacement. Of course, if someone in the top six gets injured, we might bump somebody up, but you get the point. And as far as the AHL roster goes, we don't have any project goaltenders right now that we're looking to build up. Svoboda and Vesterholm, I mean, we could play them, but at backup potential, it's not looking all that good. I think I'd rather just play Grosnick and McCollum as the 1-2 punch to try and have this team just perform at a higher level Defensively, we really don't have that many high-level players. Pirocta, probably butchering that name, but medium 7th potential. I think we're going to look to play somebody else. Medium 6 there for Leitinen. You know me, I'm terrible with names. I'm also fighting off having to sneeze. Hold on, I'm not going to be able to win this battle. Don't worry, I muted the microphone to save you from that eardrum bursting sneeze. Frederick Allard, though, can make it into the lineup. You notice how we just seamlessly move on from the fact that I feel like I fucking popped a lung from that sneeze. So defensively, we're good, but again, we don't have any major defensive prospects that are signed right now. That changes a little bit with Fabro and Ference, but not by a lot. And then forward-wise, we'll take out Olivier. Do we have anybody else that makes sense to play? Anthony Richard? I'm going to go with Richard, just because, you know, Canadian. But Anthony Richard, I don't know. Let's get you into the lineup. Is there anybody else? Tyler Moy. Probably look to take you out with you only being a 67. We apparently have no right wings on the roster. Yakov Trenin will definitely have to get into this lineup. Blackwell at a 67. Let's get Trenin into the lineup. And then there was one other medium 7th. Kirkland's going to stay. So Gregor or Tanner Jeannot. One or two will be out of the lineup. And I'm probably going to keep in Gregor just for his face-off ability. So let's go ahead and bring in Zach Magwood. Why not? We'll see what he can do. So obviously there is room in this lineup to, you know, maybe sign some of those prospects that we have and have them play. But we are at 46 contract spots right now, so there's not really a whole hell of a lot we can look to do in terms of signing players. We wouldn't be able to sign all of them. Some people would be left out. Let's set up the centers like this, and from there we'll go best overall. So top line, Tolvanen and Brickley and Grimaldi, AHL level, they should be able to do some serious damage. I don't know how I expect the Admirals to do this year, and that's pretty much what I'm going to do, is just refer to them as the Ospreys and the Admirals, because why bring up Milwaukee? They're both in Milwaukee. But with that, this team is set up. We are good to go. We'll take it kind of slowly through the preseason here just to see if any major signings happen. Of course, there was the option for us to sign somebody, whether that be a Rick Nash, a Scott Hartnell, but seeing how the team was already set up, I just don't really see how that would work for us. I mean, I suppose we could look to bring back a Scott Hartnell. We could look to sign a Rick Nash and then maybe drop Craig Smith down to the third line. That would probably bump Watson out of the lineup. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. We could afford Rick Nash. And to be honest, it might not be the worst option. I mean, goaltenders, there's nobody to sign. There's nobody to sign that's a better option. I mean, I could look to bring in a better AHL, goaltender like, was it Riku Helenius? Riku Helenius. Why I knew your name, I don't know. Former first-round pick, though. Oof. Tampa's done better in recent years in terms of drafting goaltenders, I'd say. There's really not a whole hell of a lot to do. I mean, not that many options that are better than what we already have. Of course, defensively, I'd be looking for a better right-handed option to replace Weber. That wasn't there. We would have the option, if we wanted to bring in a Rick Nash. And like I said, we could drop Craig Smith down. But say things go poorly for us and we have to look to make a trade, if we sign a Rick Nash, that is not leaving us with a whole hell of a lot of cap space to make any moves. So I think we're going to look to hold off, because we also have to factor in some of the contracts that are going to be kicking in. The salary cap heading into year 2 is going to drastically change. Or not the salary cap, but the salary situation for so many teams is going to drastically change heading into season 2, that I think we're just going to look to keep the roster the same. And that is typically what I like to do for the start of a new series. I don't like to make a ton of drastic changes. It's just not that fun to me. I kind of like to just see how it goes with the team, and then make changes as we head into the later seasons. So we will keep an eye here on the signing situation, though, just to see if Rick Nash ends up signing. and if any trades happen. And there you go. Drew Stafford back to Buffalo. A couple of minor signings as well. Kari Lettinen to San Jose. Hartnell to Columbus. Versteeg to New Jersey. Winnick to Ottawa. Yannick Hansen to Buffalo. Montreal gets Toby Enstrom. Poirier to Edmonton. And Rick Nash goes to Colorado on a 1-year deal. So there you go. Rick Nash playing alongside Nathan McKinnon, probably. Actually, again, I'd be intrigued to check Colorado's lineup on day one. And actually, we might, on opening day, check that out. Now, as far as, jumping in, I was tempted to jump into the first game. Just be like, yeah, it's our opener against, well, not even against the Bruins, but the home opener, which was game 3 against Philadelphia. We'll save checking out the arena and checking out this team in action for the playoffs once we get there, which will hopefully be this season. Now, we went 4-2 in the preseason. Johansson was a point-a-game guy. Let's hope he continues that pace. Do we have any other trades or signings? Shane Prince to Carolina, Yurko to Winnipeg, Stempniak and Nick Shore to Toronto, Benoit Pouliot to Ottawa, Kujawinski, Gilmore, Jimmy Lodge, Alexei Emelin to Columbus, UC Okinen to Toronto. Now, here's the thing. Some of these computer AIs, I am a little bit concerned about how they're going to manage to balance their team, because I can't help but think that they're going to abuse some of the cap space here, and that we're going to see some RFAs, particularly on Toronto, if they don't play their cards right. But just a quick look. Camilleri back to New Jersey. Another somewhat major move, at least for the players that were available. So with that, let's look to get things started. Of course, we play the Bruins on night 1. Let's sim midway through the month of October. Let's see what the Ospreys can do. And actually, let's double check a certain situation here as far as captaincy goes. We'll do that in 1 second. Let me just double check here. I always forget to check this, so yes, I'm going to be a little bit obsessive over making sure that I double check all of that, because I normally always forget to start a series. But let's take a look here. So Forsberg, Subban is the captain, huh? I like PK Subban, and again, I know, Bruins fan and all saying that. I like PK, but I think it should go to Roman Josi more than likely. Or we just, actually, you know what? Maybe we won't name a captain this year. Maybe we won't, because when talking about captains, I mean, Johansson, maybe. Turris, Bonino for alternates, Forsberg for an alternate. We have options. Craig Smith, for some reason, Craig Smith doesn't wear the number 3, as far as I remember. You know what? I think that'll be our first thing, is heading into Season 2, we'll name a captain. But for this season, let's go Smith, Subban. Actually, you know what? Let's go Smith, Josi, and Hamhuis, maybe? There's so many options for who we could hand the leadership to. Let's go with Smith, Josi. I want another forward. Let's go for Dan Hamhuis. A sign of respect to the veteran Dan Hamhuis. That'll be one thing we can do, is figure out who the hell we want the leadership group of this team to be. Because I was like, wait a minute, there probably won't be a defined captain. And then it was PK. I didn't trade PK, but I already stripped him of the captaincy. Just a terrible Bruins fan is all I am. I am determined to win a Stanley Cup with PK Subban, damn it. I am determined. Spoiler alert, couldn't do it in Montreal. Go watch the series anyway from earlier this year. We broke a curse in Nations United, and now I need to win a Stanley Cup with PK Subban. We are not doing well to start off this season, though. If it's a problem with top 6 scoring, at the very least, we have Tolvanen there, ready to go. Chimera to Vancouver, Upshaw, Stewart to Carolina, Jason Garrison and Colin Greening also off the market, just to kind of keep an eye on that situation. Of course, some teams will get in trouble with their cap situation if they hand out numerous multi-year deals. Let's go ahead and sim to November 1st. Hopefully we can start to turn things around. Maybe. This Here's the thing. I mean, I've said this before. It's not a guarantee. Even if we have a strong team on paper, we're listed as champions, and this is going to be too easy. You're going to win cups immediately. Are we? I know it's still early. It's the opening weeks of the season. But the Ospreys here are not doing all that well. The Admirals are killing it right now, though. And I'd like to think that's from us having Tolvanen down in the AHL. We are only, 10 games, though, into the season? 11 games, excuse me. I saw 6-4. I didn't see the overtime loss. Or 4-6, excuse me. I wish we were 6-4. Arvidsson's almost a point-a-game player to begin the season. Let's sim midway through November. Let's sim midway through November before we take a look at the lines and see what we can change. We'll sim 2 weeks here. We have 6 games in that time, and so far it's not going all that well. We'll continue to scout here. Let's go ahead and check out the OHL for 3 weeks. See if we can find anybody half decent in this draft. Of course, 7-0 victory over the Columbus Blue Jackets. That is a huge win for us, but then we do absolutely nothing to follow it up. 6-9-2 for the Ospreys, 10-4-3 for the Admirals. Let's take a look at this team and see if there's anything we can kind of change up here. As Fiala is now our leading point getter, 13 points in 17 games. So Philip Forsberg has 6 points. That's a problem. Kyle Turris has 8 points. The 12 points for Arvidsson. So that top line, not exactly gelling together all that well. Fiala leading the way with 13 points. Johansson's doing well. And Smith is doing well. So really it's that top line. It's actually struggling a bit more than I would have thought. Let's swap Arvidsson and Forsberg just to see if that can get anything going. Both are right-handed players. Third line, Bonino, 6 points. 5 points for Yarncroke and 9 points for Ryan Hartman. That's what I'm talking about. That's looking good. And the fourth line, 5 points for Salomaki, 7 for Sissons, and 4 for Austin Watson. So really it's just the fact that Forsberg is performing at a slightly lower pace than we'd like to see him perform at. That's the only thing that's really kind of dragging down the offense. Ekholm's doing all right. Subban with 10 points, 11 for Yossi. Yannick Weber hasn't done much so far. No points for Hamhuis. And Ryan Ellis is doing quite well. Kind of strange. You know what? Let's go ahead and bump up Hamhuis and Ellis. We'll have Yossi and Weber as the third pairing. And Pekka Rinne, buddy, what are you doing to me? 14 appearances, 3 wins, and an .895 save percentage. Wow. I mean, Saros has done incredibly well in limited appearances so far. That would explain it. Pekka Rinne, I said he should be able to do well enough to kind of get us to the postseason. So far, not so good. We will give him time to turn it around. Of course, without making a blockbuster trade, we don't have an option right now in the system to replace Pekka Rinne. Now, could I go out, probably with his slightly inflated trade value for a 35-year-old, as Ryan Ellis goes down to injury, not for long. That'll get Matt Irwin into the lineup. We lost 6-0 to Colorado. That is brutal. With that situation, again, I could go out, I can make a big deal immediately. I'm kind of all right with the idea of struggling for a little bit, though. I kind of like the idea of having to just develop that replacement instead of just being like, nope, screw it, trading for whoever and just immediately getting that replacement. And that seemed to be a common theme in the comments as well. And obviously that's why a series like Draft to Glory that we do is as beloved as it is. Is it beloved? I don't know. It's beloved by me, at the very least. As we hit December 1st with a 10-12-3 record, the Admirals at 13-7-4. Let's go another 2 weeks. I'm not sure how much simming will get done in this episode. I mean, typically the closer to the deadline, the better, as we have lost Philip Forsberg until March. Well then, that is one hell of a curveball, and something you can't exactly plan for. The good news is we have Eli Tolvanen, but Wow, what a massive hit to this team. 8 goals, 5 assists so far. Assists. 4 Forsberg. Ugh. I'm going to blame the fact that, it is at least 90 plus degrees in this room while I'm recording. Because, again, homes without central air conditioning are the only place to live. That is a massive loss for this team. Now, I said Zach Ronaldo would be the replacement. This is slightly different. I don't think Ronaldo is going to be the long-term replacement. Tolvanen has been killing it in the AHL to start this season. 21 points so far. He will get the call-up. That is a huge hit to the Admirals. But at the very least, we have a somewhat ready-to-go replacement. And funny enough, it actually makes Ronaldo the center by default. We'll bring in Colton Sissons. Fourth line will stay the same. Do we bump up Kevin Fiala? How well has Fiala done? Kevin Fiala has 18 points. I kind of want to leave the second line the same, though. Fiala, Johansson, and Smith. They've been doing really well. I want to leave that line together. And I might actually make that the top line over the new pairing of Tolvanen, Turris, and Arvidsson. We have options there, but I feel like that's okay. Again, to lose Philip Forsberg until March is disastrous for us, but we do have Tolvanen to try and step in and replace him. Again, let's take out Matt Irwin for the moment. We'll bring in Yannick Weber. Let's see. I don't know why that skipped to Yossi stats. Yossi, 5, 13, and 5. Ekholm's kind of struggling. Hamhugh still hasn't done much. Right, so Ekholm and Subban aren't exactly killing it. Let's go. Is maybe that set up there? Subban with 18 points. Ellis is doing okay. Weber hasn't done much. Let's go with that. Hamhugh, Subban, Yossi, Weber, Ekholm, and Ellis. To be honest, I think we can make that change and maybe just go. Actually, Ekholm was kind of struggling. Let's, you know what? Because Ekholm was kind of struggling. Let's go with that. Why not? Everyone will still get some half-decent playing time. So it should be okay. And then down in the AHL, I mean, I'm just going to have to find a replacement here as opposed to doing anything too crazy. And it'll probably be Tanner Jeannot who gets into the lineup. Or not. Just, god damn it. There's always something. There's always that one little extra. It's like, hey, you got to fix this 3-on-3 line for some reason because, you know, the player that you dumped into the lineup, we can't just change that on our own. Patterson, congratulations. You get to play a lot for the hell of it. And we will set it up in that way right there. Beautiful. Defensively, they're still looking okay. I mean, kind of. And we're good to go. So our first major curveball as we lose Philip Forsberg. He gets injured in early December and is out until, what was it, March 8th was his estimated return date. Oh my lord. Okay, where was this bad luck in the Ottawa series? Because it's the same exact sliders. Roman Josi is out for a month with a concussion. Well then. This we could not have planned for. Yet here we are. What an awful start in terms of injuries. So defensively, we now have Irwin and Weber here. Again, we'll put Ellis on that side. Ekholm hasn't done that well. Hamhughes. All right, let's go with, I guess, maybe Irwin and Subban? Oh, what do we want to do here? What do we want to do? Ekholm and Subban haven't worked that well together. That's the problem. I'm going to go Irwin, Subban, Hamhughes, Ellis, Ekholm, Weber. We at least still have a tremendous trio there that should be capable of, you know, leading the way in our time of need through these injuries as we hit the middle of December. Back-to-back losses against Vancouver and Edmonton on this Western road trip. We're at 12, 5, and 4 at this point in the season. It's been a bit since I've checked signings. I might as well check it, although anything that may have happened, it might have disappeared already. Nothing too crazy. Lyndon Vay to Boston, Tommy Wingels back to Chicago, and Miro Aaltonen to the Rangers, signing over from the KHL apparently. With that, I think we'll call it an episode because I'm kind of scared to move forward any further and risking other potential injuries. I think this is a half-decent place to stop. Not the best start for us in the regular season. We're currently 6th in a 7-team or in a 7-team division, but obviously we're not out of it, although Dallas and Winnipeg are already pulling ahead. So far, the Tampa Bay Lightning, the top of the NHL. Montreal's also doing okay. Let's actually take a look at the divisions really quickly. So in the Pacific, Arizona, Calgary, and Vegas are your top 3. Think of that what you will. Again, this game does what it wants in terms of results. I'll give you guys the opportunity there. The Bruins are dead last. EA, you're just trolling. You are just trolling. I'm telling you. Absolutely trolling. And as far as our player points go, I mean, we have four players over 20 points. Yossi's almost there as well. We're doing okay. I think the big thing right now, though, is I imagine Rene's save percentage is still below a 900. Pekka Rinne, please get it together. Otherwise, we are in just a tad bit of trouble. Just to get you a look at the points, or just to get you a look at the points in general around the league. Sagan has 40 points in 32 games. Sagan and Ben, and Radulov for that matter, are tearing up the league at the moment. But with that, just to get you guys a look at everything, I stumbled through that and stammered through that and just completely misspoke, but we're going to continue onward just to get you guys a look at what's been going on around the league. You know what's going on with our team at the moment. With that, as I check to see where Rick Nash is playing in Colorado, I say thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. Nash, Kerfoot, and Calvert. Interesting second line. Thank you very much for watching. You know what you can do to support the video, the channel, the series, beyond, of course, just donating your time. I hope it was worth the watch. Like, comment, subscribe, and notification bells. All the fun stuff. Links are in the description to my Twitter and Twitch. Give me a follow on both of those platforms if you have not already done so. And until next time, looking forward to your feedback, and hopefully we have a little bit better luck, especially in terms of injuries, in the next one. I will see you then. Goodbye.